Did you know some of the most terrifying beings in all of comics don't rule planets? They rule entire realities built on fear, fire, and corruption? And honestly, once you start looking into demonic and hellborn entities across different comic universes, you realize something fast. Power scaling becomes less about strength and more about how deeply a being can control existence itself. So today, we're going through the top 10 most powerful demonic hell lords in all of comics, from 10 to 1. And just to be clear, this isn't a simple who hits harder list. This is about scale, influence, reality control, and how far their dominion extends across their respective mythologies. And yeah, number 1 is going to sound almost unfair. Before we start, like, share, subscribe, and comment which hell lord you think is the most terrifying, because some of these beings are genuinely nightmare fuel when you understand what they represent. Let's begin. At number 10 is Mephisto. Mephisto is basically Marvel's master manipulator of damnation. He doesn't need brute force most of the time because his real power is contracts, souls, and corruption. He operates like a cosmic devil, twisting hope into despair. He's not the strongest physically on this list, but his influence over souls makes him a constant threat to gods, heroes, and entire civilizations. Number 9 is Zarathos. Zarathos is pure demonic wrath condensed into a being of fire and vengeance. As the spirit tied to the Ghost Rider mythos, he embodies punishment without mercy. Unlike Mephisto's manipulation, Zarathos is direct destruction and supernatural judgment, especially when bonded with a host. At number 8 is Surtur. Surtur is a fire giant of apocalyptic scale. His existence is tied to Ragnarok itself, meaning he represents the destruction of entire realms and cycles of existence. When Surtur rises fully, it's not just a battle, it's the end of worlds. Number 7 is Dormammu. Dormammu is one of Marvel's most iconic Dark Dimension rulers. He doesn't just rule a realm. He is a realm of mystical darkness and infinite energy. His biggest advantage is dimensional control. In his own domain, he becomes significantly more dangerous, capable of overwhelming most magical beings through sheer dominance of his environment. At number 6 is Spawn. Spawn is a unique case because he bridges hellish power with anti-hero resistance. Empowered by demonic forces, necroplasmic energy, and hellborn contracts, Spawn becomes extremely dangerous in both physical and supernatural combat. His adaptability and resistance to traditional demonic control make him stand out from typical hell lords. Number 5 is Trigon. Trigon is a multiversal-level demonic conqueror whose influence spans dimensions and civilizations. He doesn't just destroy worlds, he corrupts them before consuming them. What makes Trigon terrifying is his combination of raw power, psychic domination, and reality-warping presence that grows stronger the more fear and despair exist around him. At number 4 is Cyttorak. Cyttorak is a mystical godlike entity tied to unstoppable force itself. Even his artifacts, like the Crimson Gem, grant absurd levels of power to those chosen. He represents raw, unstoppable destruction on a conceptual magical scale, making him far beyond most standard demonic rulers. Number 3 is Thawne. Thawne is one of Marvel's oldest dark gods, tied directly to chaos magic and forbidden knowledge. His influence spreads through reality manipulation, possession, and ancient mystical corruption. What makes Thawne so dangerous is that he doesn't just fight. He infects existence with chaos. At number 2 is Lucifer Morningstar. Lucifer isn't just a ruler of hell. He is a being who walked away from the entire system of divine authority itself. In DC's higher cosmology, he exists as a morning star of creation-level intellect and will, capable of shaping existence not through force, but through absolute intent. He doesn't rely on domination in the traditional sense. He understands the architecture of reality so deeply that he can alter, escape, or redefine systems that try to contain him. Even forces that govern heaven, hell, and the multiverse treat him less like a subject and more like an anomaly in the structure of creation itself. And taking the number 1 spot is Scarlet King. And honestly, this is where things stop feeling like traditional comic scaling. The Scarlet King isn't just a demon or ruler of hell. He is often depicted as a foundational cosmic horror entity tied to destruction, suffering, and existential collapse across reality layers. What makes him stand above everyone else on this list is the sheer scale of conceptual horror tied to his existence. While other beings dominate realms or dimensions, the Scarlet King is often interpreted as something that exists across narrative layers of reality itself, representing a kind of multiversal corruption that goes beyond conventional power systems. And that's why, overall, he takes the top spot as the most terrifying demonic Hell Lord in this lineup. And when you look at all 10 together, what becomes clear is that demonic power in comics isn't one-dimensional. Some rule through manipulation, some through destruction, some through magic, and others through full conceptual domination of existence itself. And honestly, this is one of those topics where a part 2 almost feels necessary, because there are still way more entities that could easily make another list. So now I've got to ask you, which of these Hell Lords would you absolutely never want to face?